It is, as I said, one of my favourite people, Pete Markey. He's a CMO at Boots. Now, Pete recently starred on our podcast series on NDA, CMO Confidential, and that's talking to CMOs who, while not digital in their job title, are definitely digital in their DNA. And Pete Markey is a great example of that. His talk, thank God, is about Christmas. Powering Christmas, how data help Boots drive online growth. Pete, over to you.
Thank you, Justin, and hello, everyone. Good afternoon. What better thing to talk about in the height of March than Christmas and to start feeling festive all over again? And I'm going to share on a few simple slides the journey we've been on in Boots and how we've used first-party data to power last Christmas with some fantastic results. So let's feel festive and let's get going. So last Christmas, as we all know, was a Christmas like no other, particularly given the context of COVID and everything we've all been through. Challenges around debt and also unemployment and furlough and some of the really real financial conditions in which a number of consumers were facing into. And as a consequence, for all of us last Christmas, consumers are really looking for value and relevant offers more than ever. How were they going to make money work further and reach beyond where it would normally to get those all-important Christmas presents for their nearest and dearest? So it's about tapping into value and tapping into the real mindset of consumers around how to make 2020's Christmas as special as possible, but understanding the challenges that presented as well. Now, one of the most powerful things we've got within Boots is the Advantage card that's been going since 1997. Millions of customers use it and benefit from it day in, day out. And therefore, that provides a very real opportunity for us as a business to harness that data, to harness what we know, to make sure that those value offers I was talking about could be communicated exactly the right way, at the right time, through the right channel. And working with the great partners in WPP, we set out to do exactly that for Christmas last year. So our strategy was about bringing a number of these elements together. So working with WPP, we basically built this bespoke digital content optimization, DCO model, that would smartly marry both the creative, the media, and our own first-party data to deliver relevant offers on a one-to-one personal way. This is the sort of stuff I've dreamed of doing in the early days of my marketing career. How do we get more personalized to make sure we get the right offer, the right message, the right customer with the right creative at exactly the right time? And so we set about basically building this model with not only the data, but some smart technology and a really clever decisioning tree around who would get what and when, and how we could quickly learn, accelerate, and take those learnings to move forwards as well. But in short, what that gave us is tens of thousands of different versions for each specific product available on Boots.com. So it very much was a tailored and personal experience done at scale. So we set out to make sure every individual would see a unique version of the advert, and that was based on their online behavior and things that we knew about past shopping habits through things like the Advantage card and wider. Again, so make sure we tailored that activity to make it as relevant as possible with offers and messages and gifts that we knew would be the most relevant for them in the moment. So we had dynamic retargeting, so the exact product. So we showed the product we knew they'd be looking for, but they perhaps hadn't purchased before, had purchased before, or similar product lines that would re-attract them and bring them back in based on what we knew already. But it was a great way of pulling that concept dynamically exactly to the moment when they re-engage with us through Boots.com, and you see some examples there. And then dynamic prospecting. So we had also priority traded products that we put forward, again, personalized in the moment based on the data that we knew about the consumer at the time. Again, the most relevant offer for them in that moment. So very much the flavor was use the richness of insight through the models we built and the matrix and the planning we did to build out these tens of thousands of different versions of the model and everything that we were doing to tailor and personalize that experience for them as well. And ultimately to encourage them back into Boots at a moment when those all-important Christmas gifts needed to be bought, and it was all about value for me. And so a lot of this was around stress testing. You know, we still at Christmas, and we still are very much on a constant mode of learning. What's really exciting working with how dynamic this approach is you are always learning. And therefore, we've been able to deliver a fantastic Christmas campaign. We've learned a lot from that. We've applied those learnings through the past few months, but there's more to come because we're constantly in that learning cycle with the models we're building through the WPP team. So you can see here an example of if someone's visited a specific product's details page on Boots.com heading into the Christmas period, then actually there was then a variety of messages that played out directly related to that product or a similar product or in the same offer or a similar product category. So again, we were learning from each of those what works best and what's the best next thing to go back with or the next opportunity to go back in based on the behavior of what we've seen before. But also there was a mode of, well, what if the product was not an offer? What would we do? Well, therefore we'd go back and go, well, look, if that's not an offer, what can we put in front of you that is relevant, perhaps from the same category or similar, but has an offer applied to it as well. So this matrix decision tree work between us and the team at WPP was just so essential to make the right calls, the right decisions on what to put in front of people at the right time. So you can see an example at the bottom on electrical beauty, where we really applied that under the Love Sweet Love campaign, all about an in-market audience and applying that data to put right product, right message, right time in front of the customer at exactly that right moment. So what do we see through this case study? And all of this we're still applying at the moment and getting great learnings from on a daily basis. So the theme and at the heart of our strategy in Boots is about mass personalization. We're investing in the Adobe Marketing Cloud, and we're looking to do a lot more with our first-party data to better connect with audiences and really drive relevance and reach to our customer base and beyond. And we're seeing some really fantastic results from that approach. And we talk a lot within the business about mass personalization and the value of what that brings. And as you can see from the numbers here, we're really seeing that. So great numbers in terms of unique ad views and massive jump up from the previous year and the application of what we did in Christmas 2019. Real step change in performance, and we're really seeing here and continue to see the real benefits of that hyper targeting approach on mass personalization and the relevance that brings in terms of response versus both the target but also the previous year. And first party data, our users were saying here, is up 400% year on year. And that's simply because we're doing it in a way that's super smart with WPP. We've got the right tools in place, we've got the right people, the right thinking, and we are in a mode of continuous improvement. This is about constantly learning, continuing to refine what we do and apply these learnings on a regular basis. And we're a business that's in so many categories, from pharmacy to beauty to broader healthcare. And the learnings we've achieved and delivered at Christmas have given us great and rich insights, not only for Christmas this year coming that we're already planning, but also day to day when we're trading as a business on events, including Mother's Day, which, as a reminder, is this Sunday. I was going to wrap up there, Justin, and hand back to you, and happy to take any questions.
Pete, fantastic. As usual, really insightful, detailed talk. I was going to say Happy Christmas, but I won't. So I'll say thanks for reminding me it's Mother's Day. That's good. So let's talk first about personalization. There's lots of questions coming in, but I want to talk about a few things first. Unsurprisingly, personalization sometimes gets differing views. There's a report not too long ago that CMOs were sort of going off the idea of personalization a bit, and there's, it can go too far, it can be too creepy. So obviously it's been so successful for you at Boots, and mass personalization is a lovely term. So is there any sort of truth in the thought that maybe personalization has gone too far, or there's been too much put onto it?
No, I think if you're doing it in a smart way that's relevant, in the role you're playing in consumers' lives, and you're putting things in front of them at the right moment, which is super relevant, I think there are so many opportunities to get it right, as we've found. But it is all about bringing together the richness of great creativity and great data together. When you get that combination working powerfully, that's one of the huge benefits we get with the integration we've got in the WPP relationship with creative and media together. That means that we can bring the riches of that thinking right at the heart of our planning and everything we do. So no, I don't think the days of mass personalization are over. I think there are greater and more opportunities, but it is going to be about being increasingly sophisticated and clever and smart at what you do and how you do it.
A question here from Anonymous, who asks, how many different ads would one person expect to receive from Boots? Do you set a limit?
We definitely set a limit around frequency of contact. So this definitely wasn't about obviously this went wider than the activity I've mentioned here. It went into our email program and some of our in-app activity. So no, we set parameters around the number of times we'll target and contact. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the exact stats, but this wasn't a campaign about throwing a lot at customers and hoping something stuck. This was about being really clever and really smart at what we're doing. And the great thing about being able to learn as well was that because we could see what was working and what wasn't, we were able to turn stuff off that worked less well and do more of the stuff that did. And that's the beauty of being able to learn in this way. In a dynamic way as a retailer, you can act at pace.
Excellent. Another question here from Anonymous. Again, you're very shy out there today. Can you ask about the boots and mothers? So I missed that. These have got a bit garbled, actually. Sorry, this is a question. What's the strongest channel boots use? I guess among all the channels you've got out there to play with.
Oh, golly, there are so many. And I mean, traditional media still plays a role for us on top of everything that we're doing as a brand and business. But if I look at the campaign I've just outlined, I mean, digital display, through the power of DCO, digital content optimization, is just really powerfully effective. Not just for us, but for other brands. But we have a wide range of really highly targeted, personalized channels that really work for us day in, day out. And we're continually testing and refining the mix. So there's not a day where I could go, all right, it's about this channel today, because the mix continues to evolve and work. But at its heart, as you saw from the sort of 4,000% increase year on year, the benefits of mass personalization really help with that refinement.
Excellent. Another anonymous question is, how do you use data from Vantage cards to scale communications?
Well, the great thing about the Advantage card, I mean, it is a fantastic loyalty program. As I say, 24 years old this year, millions of members who really benefit the value that brings. And it acts as a really important loyalty mechanic for consumers and their connection with Boots as a brand. So there's data through that in the context of what products people have previously bought, and gives you an indication of what they may buy in the future. So when someone is then coming back into Boots.com as an Advantage card holder, it gives us a real opportunity to make sure that we're talking to them about things that are relevant. So the shop window, and as they come in, and how we talk to them and what we show them is as targeted as possible. And the golden rule for me in this whole area, and it's maybe a really obvious point, is the more you know about your end consumer, the more you can help, the more you can add value in a relevant way to help them with their shopping experience, particularly at Christmas around gifting. So no, having the Advantage card is super helpful in this regard. But for me, it's about customer experience. The better we know and understand, the more we can help. And that's at the heart of what this campaign was about.
Perfect. One here from Spencer who says, what about CTV and addressable TV? I guess, you've got so many channels to play with. How does that play into your strategy? What's your view in it, I guess? It's so hot at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. And I did a lot of this in my last role at TSB using InfoSum, partnering with Channel 4 and slightly wider ITV, going into radio through global radio as well. I also like the work that Sky have done with AdSmart. So I think addressable TV using first-party data through VOD platforms is super exciting. I'm, as I say, particularly excited about the work of InfoSum at the moment. I think watch this space. I think that area will continue to grow. But again, it's all about relevance. It's all about connectivity. And as a marketer, I love the notion that our marketing can get more and more relevant, more and more personal, and more helpful, which is, I think, a great opportunity to better connect with customers.
Definitely. And a lovely mention. Pete, as always, it's great seeing you. Thank you so much for that superb presentation.